Hillary Clinton's email mess hit the headlines this week with the discovery of top secret material in a couple of her private exchanges, pushing the story back onto the network newscasts.
The race for 2016 and the firestorm growing for Hillary Clinton tonight. Mrs. Clinton now reversing course, turning over that home server after insisting she would not.
Hillary Clinton's campaign is in damage control mode this evening as the FBI takes possession of her private email server.
Julie, the media giving Hillary Clinton a very tough time on this email story, but given the fact that she portrayed this as voluntarily turning over her server when the FBI had already asked for it and originally insisted there was no classified material on any of her email, isn't this coverage deserved?
It is deserved, and it's entirely self-inflicted by Hillary Clinton. First of all, it continues to be a puzzle to me as to why she acted the way she did with the server in the first place. Secondly, I'm incredibly puzzled as to why she's had the treatment of the media that she's had since her announcement. And so she has nobody to blame but herself for the problems that she's encountering with the media. When you shun the media, when you refuse to do interviews, when you treat the media as though they are there to coordinate you and not to interview you, and you do something that you should not have done in the first place, which is put your public emails on a private server, you've got really nobody to blame but yourself when the firestorm erupts.
Right. In Iowa, Hillary Clinton made a joke about how she likes using Snapchat because the messages just disappear, but I don't think a joke is going to wish this story away. Rick Grinnell, are the media drawing too much of a straight line, however, between this obvious debacle over the private email and the problems that she's having in the polls with her presidential campaign?
I don't think so, and I think you got to look at the media in two different ways. The serious national security media who are looking at the details of the server and what she did with classified information, only having one email account and saying that she didn't send or receive any classified information, that's not accurate. You can't do your job as Secretary of State if you're not dealing in classified information. But political reporters are playing into the fact that Hillary Clinton is trying to throw this whole thing into politics. The comment about Snapchat yesterday and laughing and yucking it up is a way to give red meat to the liberals to say, here they go again. They're just coming after me. This is all politics, and she's going to try to deflect this. But serious journalists are going to have to look at the details. When the FBI gets involved, we've got a problem.
Her campaign also put out a lengthy statement calling this nonsense. But at the very least, we have a federal investigation of the handling of the private email. Bob Cusack, Hillary, that Fox News poll I mentioned earlier that is just out today, she's got a 19-point national lead over Bernie Sanders in the polls, although that's down 10% from where she was, in a previous poll. So my question is serious a story as this is, and it deserves a lot of coverage, and it's being a little overshadowed, I think, by Trump. Is the press overreacting by practically portraying Hillary's campaign as being in freefall?
Well, political reporters love a race. There's no doubt about it. And there's more of a race on the Republican side than on the Democratic side. But these negative headlines have certainly hurt her numbers, and they're not going to stop anytime soon. So that's why I think you've gotten a lot of coverage of Bernie Sanders. And remember, Bernie Sanders doing very well in a poll, leading her in New Hampshire. And then Hillary Clinton did not do well in Iowa, actually finished third in 2008. So there are questions. And of course, a lot of Democratic insiders say there's no way that Bernie Sanders is going to be the nominee, but it's a very unpredictable year.
Right. Washington Post story today describing Hillary's campaign, and particularly the handling of this email fiasco, as rigid, insular, tone deaf, some of the problems she had last time. And I think the press interest in Bernie Sanders, who's drawing these huge crowds, we'll talk about that later, is certainly related to Hillary's problems, the sinking poll numbers, and all of that. Bob Cusack in Washington, Julie Roginski in New York, and Rick Grinnell here in Los Angeles. Thanks very much for joining us this Sunday.